Hello, and we are back with our Batman the Animated Series episodes commentary. And today's episode, it's called Moon of the Wolf, a very kind of horror-based episode, and one that I really like as well. So, without wasting time, let's do our countdown. If you are watching this episode through your DVD box set, Blu-ray box set, or streaming service with Batman the Animated Series, let's go in 3, 2, 1, play. The Warner Bros. Logo is on the screen. And yes, Moon of the Wolf. Today we have a werewolf episode in Batman the Animated Series. And as you know, I am a huge fan of Batman fighting creatures. So I'm a great appreciator of this side of the character where he fights some kind of monster or creature, the supernatural side of Batman, right? I love when he fights Dracula in that feature animation Batman versus Dracula, one that maybe someday I will talk here in the channel, make a special video about. But today he's gonna fight a werewolf, and I really like this one. As a kid, it was one of those forgettable episodes, or at least one that I didn't care that much, especially because I'm not that huge fan of the creature werewolf in the midst of all the universal monsters, famous monsters like Dracula or Frankenstein or, in this case, the Wolfman. He was my least favorite one. I even liked the Mummy better than him, but anyway. And but this episode is very interesting. It's actually interesting and funny that it takes place right after another episode that had some creatures in Batman that was last episode called the Tiger, which had some creatures, a mixture of man and creature, right? With, I don't know, tigers and gorillas and all that stuff. So it's funny that we have another episode right after that one that features a mutation from man to wolf. I don't know what was the mentality there to feature this episode right after that one, but okay, it's okay. So we start the episode with this security guard in the park making his vigilance at night. And he has a dog on a leash. He says hi to a woman doing some jogging. Then all of a sudden, this werewolf, huge werewolf, attacks him and throws the dog that he has far away into some bushes around. And the dog almost dies. It's a very crazy scene. And then he attacks the security guard, and Batman arrives, kicking the wolf in his face. Very cool scene. So probably Batman was doing his vigilance around the park, right? Because he arrived just in time. So both the hero and the villain fight. The werewolf throws the security guard on the lake beside a bridge, so Batman goes after the guy to save him, and he leaves the fight. Very, very cool beginning, right? Very cool start for this episode. And I love, as I said in the last episode, Tiger, I love the scenario here in the forest. Batman in the dark forest always pleases me very much. But anyway, Batman saved the security guard, and then he goes to the police station to talk with Gordon. Once again, he will scare the old man because he always does that, and he has to talk with Gordon because he wants to know more information about werewolves. Gordon makes a little research in his computer, and I mean, this is almost like a urban legend, right? It's not a real criminal. So at first Batman thinks that this werewolf guy was somebody in a mask, which is very interesting. And then he looks at his hand once he's opening the window to fly away. He opens the window and sees that he has fur in his gloves. And before leaving, I don't know why Batman does this with Gordon, but before leaving, he also leaves the question, what if he wasn't a mask? So anyway, and then we go to these kind of stadium, abandoned stadium, almost like a coliseum, where we have a little shack in the middle of the place, and we see Dr. Milo. Dr. Milo is back as a character in this episode. Since the last one that was the last one he appeared, it was the cat scratch fever, right? The one with the Catwoman. And here he's back. He always participates in the stories that are related to animals and in mutations. He's a scientist, so he is the one that is taking care, or at least that is experimenting with the mutation of the werewolf. And here, the werewolf arrives at the shack, and Milo looks at his clock, and all of a sudden the werewolf returns to be a human. This very strong, buff guy. So it is actually a real werewolf, just like the myth or the legends, right? Then we're gonna discover that this werewolf guy is actually an athlete, a very famous athlete called Anthony Romulus. Funny enough, and he's friend with Bruce Wayne. So the two guys are talking about their rich stuff. Since Romulus is actually a rich guy as well, he's going to give some money to some charity. And the funny thing about this guy, this athlete, is that he has this one eyebrow, right, connected. And this is very, I don't know, maybe it's a hint of the werewolf idea, or his werewolf look. Then we go to the Batcave. Batman is watching some werewolf stuff, I guess, some documentaries, I don't know, to know more about this. It's a very cool scene. We see Alfred fixing the engine of the Batmobile, which is something very rare for us to see. So it's a very brief scene, but we actually get to have a look at the mechanic skills of Alfred in the Batmobile, and which lead us to believe that Alfred is also the guy who is responsible for fixing the mechanical stuff in the Batcave, all the gadgets and stuff. Anyway, Batman goes to the house of Mr. Romulus because Anthony Romulus just wanted to give the money for charity if Batman was the one to pick the check up. So Batman shows up at the guy's house, and they have a little talk. It's a very stormy night outside with lightning and stuff. And all of a sudden, Batman starts to sweat. Something strange with the place. And maybe this is the conditions that a werewolf... I mean, the conditions that are pleasant for a werewolf to be. Or not. Maybe he's a gas, and Batman realizes that Romulus is up to something, and he faints. So Milo shows up. Dr. Milo shows up. So Anthony Romulus and Dr. Milo are planning something. Yes, which we still are going to discover according to the episode. We get back to the Coliseum scenario, and Batman is chained to the floor of this Coliseum place with the shack where Milo and Romulus talk about their plans, and Milo actually blackmails Romulus with these antidotes to the mutation of the werewolf, which Romulus really wants, right? To be cured of the thing. But Milo has other plans. He wants the werewolf to come out, and he wants to use the monster, the creature, to kill Batman. So, yeah. So he's using Romulus for that, right? And then we go back in the past. We have a little flashback scene showing the past of Romulus, and he was this athlete that wants to get the golden medal in the sports, but he wanted to be more agile and faster and stronger. So he contacted Dr. Milo for certain asteroids, right, or steroids, to improve his skills. And one day he gets one of these steroids from Milo's hand and drinks it without even asking for permission, which is very funny. But of course, Milo's permits this to happen because he has other plans, and eventually Romulus is able to win the prizes and get the medals, but of course there will be other consequences to his actions, and he will become this creature of the night. So a very random, bland plot, but one that I love. I love these simple episodes, from time to time, and it's great to have these. If you watched my video about the canceled ideas or episodes for this show, you'll see that they had so many ideas on the table to use for these episodes, and some of them which I really wanted to see. It would be amazing to see in this show. So just to imagine that this was one of those ideas and it got approved, it got the green light to be produced, is just very funny and cool. Anyway, Romulus becomes the werewolf. There is this very cool transition shot that I never noticed before. This is what's so good about watching these episodes again and making commentaries, where during the flashback there is this scene which shows the full moon, and there is this transition shot where like a page turning, right? So it cuts to another scene where the moon, the circle of the moon becomes the ball with that has a glass ball that has the chemistry that transforms Romulus into a werewolf inside. So in the lab of Dr. Milo. So very cool transition. Never noticed before. Love this. Anyway, we go back to our current times, and Milo still wants Romulus to become the werewolf, so that's the deal before he gives the man the antidote. So let's see. And then we cut to the zoo, where we last saw the security guard of the park. Actually, I said it was a park last time, and I guess it wasn't. That makes me a little confused because we saw this woman jogging in the park in the beginning of the episode, and then now the security guard is in the zoo. So I guess the park is a zoo as well. I'm not sure. Anyway, the Bullock shows up, and he made some investigation and discovered that the security guard, he had money put into his bank account, so somebody paid him for something. Of course, it's very clear that it was Milo, but he paid the security guard for him to open the locks of some wolf cages in the zoo. So apparently Milo stole some wolves to create his chemistry, his chemicals actually, in order to transform Romulus into a werewolf. And so the security guard in the beginning of the episode was behind the whole thing as well, or at least was in cahoots with Milo. So then we go back to the shack in the Coliseum, and finally Romulus becomes the werewolf, and we're gonna have this amazing, one of the best fight scenes in this show. I mean, it's not one of the best, but it's a very cool scene where Romulus will fight Batman, and obviously he attacks Milo first. And the cool thing about this werewolf is that he drools a lot. He's like almost like an alien, right? He drools so much. And then he attacks Milo, and this is a very cool scene because he throws Milo on the wall of the shack, and then he goes through the wall as well, and the whole shack falls apart. It's very cool. So then Milo gets unconscious, and the wolf goes after Batman, and we're gonna have this cool shot with the lightning on the sky showing the wolf's silhouette. Very, very, very cool shot. So anyway, we're gonna have now the fight in a Coliseum in construction scenario. Very cool scene. As usual, we have the famous like the famous horror images with the wolf in the darkness, and then his eyes are the only thing glowing. Again, very, very cool shot. And then I guess it's appropriate for these two characters to fight in a Coliseum-like stadium or Coliseum-like scenario. I love this setting. I love the mood of the scene, the lightning, it's night in Gotham City. We see these two Gothamites, a couple go walking outside the Coliseum, and they take a peek inside the place and see Batman fighting the werewolf. So the guy just says, let's call the 911 for this. Then we have this very cool line where Batman, he uses this piece of wood against the wolf, and he says, "Calm down, Shaggy." Yeah, the usual funny stuff when we have somebody fighting a creature. He breaks the wood on the wolf's head, and before he asks, "Don't you want to talk about this?" And then after that he goes, "I guess not." So then they go to higher ground. There is this crane on the top of the stadium. The police arrives with Bullock and some other guys. And then the fight takes place on the top of the Coliseum. Batman says, "Your move, Harry." He's full of them today. He's full of puns in this fight. For some reason. That's what I like. That's how I like Batman, when he has this little sense of humor during something so absurd like a fight like this. And then there in the crane, right, in the crane above the stadium, there is this ball on the tip of a cable, iron cable. So Batman, he grabs the ball and swings on the cable and hits the werewolf using the ball, and then a lightning, very conveniently, a lightning hits the iron cable and electrocutes the wolf in the ball at the tip of the cable. So the werewolf falls into a river besides the Coliseum and disappears. And this is it. I guess the werewolf character is gone. Milo gets arrested, and he says they'll never convict me of anything. And Commissioner just says, don't bet on it. But anyway, then we end the episode with this mansion on sale that used to belong to the Anthony Romulus guy, right? And there is a couple buying this mansion from a saleswoman, and well, it's a very strange ending, almost like an bland epilogue. And then we also see the silhouette of the wolf howling to the moon as the real final shot of the episode. And this is it. Moon of the Wolf, another episode here in our playlist of Batman the Animated Series episodes. So if you are liking our content, our commentaries, and our videos about Batman in this channel, please don't forget to subscribe and leave a like in this video for more Bat content in the future. Alright? See you in the next Bat video, and bye-bye.